Hey-o!
Literally, like
It's like it caught you
yeah,
off guard or
yeah,
something.
picking your toes while
Well, I'm
thing
shutting
goes
my
on.
heater off. Live from a bench near Ari's favorite parking lot in East Hartford, Connecticut, near an American aerospace manufacturer with global service operations. It's a Business Pants Friday.
Woohoo!
I don't like where we're live from. I have to be honest.
No,
Is it that specific parking lot? Because there's lots of parking lots.
no,
We can move.
it was the one that you told me that you liked when we were.
Oh yeah.
Ari and I spent a lot of time together on Google Street Maps. See, you have to understand that free float media exists in several cities, and sometimes we get lonely and we spend time together doing horribly boring things in the
Yeah,
guise of not
Damien.
in the guise of not being lonely. Because I used to have like, I used to be in an office of 30 people, and now I have like a dirty floor
Damien and I went for a walk together on Google Maps
for far too long. Far too
with the
long.
little person. It's like we're already in
We
the metaverse,
You
we
Damien.
guys
went
are
to
prepared for.
Yeah, it's actually true. We went to a food truck. We like went to bodies of water, benches, parking lots,
We're like,
buildings,
oh,
Okay.
Emma,
Cabela's.
Emma, I
Cabela's.
promise. I promise never to do this with you. I promise.
Thank you. Much
I'll
And
be a
Damien-
good
appreciated.
metaverse companion, actually.
Damien figured out that like my ex company's buildings are all blurred out from Google Maps.
Yeah,
And you can't
it's
actually
actually-
walk down there.
Yeah, it's one of the
Whoa.
few blurred out parts of Google Street Maps or whatever it's called.
I wonder
All
how
right,
much they paid Google for that.
that's true. It probably is a metaverse add-on. It's an upsell. Metaverse
It's an
upsell.
upgrade.
What are we doing today? Today's our Friday
We're
show.
back to normal. This is our normal
Back
Friday
to
show where we
normal.
go over, we look back at the week, story of the week, asshole of the week, good story of the week, and problem of the week, right? I mean, I'm
irritating.
Irritating is
Whatever.
Good
Every
God.
Why
week.
did you
Yes.
leave it as, well, it's called you. Oh, it's okay. It's crossed out in the text, but not in the outline. Ooh, see, Google Docs is a little behind the times here. All right.
You gotta pay for that upgrade. That's
We
only
also have
for
a
the
special,
metaverse.
a new segment this week called Fancy Expert Time. Is that what it's called? What's the segment called?
Yes, fancy
Fancy
expert time.
pants.
Yeah.
We have an awesome expert we talked to late last week. We're
Who?
gonna
Tell
air
us.
her thoughts.
Why don't you preview that? Who did we talk to? Preview that.
Her name is
Shut her out.
Bria.
Come on.
She
Yeah.
is a PhD candidate. She studies the intersection between technology and race and diversity. She is going to weigh in on the metaverse. She is amazing. She wrote an article
amazing.
that got circulated in a lot of places about the version I read. The title was the metaverse is setting up to be like a hellscape. Here's why it doesn't have to be. She is like the person who understands like the intersection between diversity and bigotry in the technology and things like that.
It sounds wonderful intellectually, not of course in real life. But I will say, if I had known that she was a PhD candidate and not a PhD, I don't know if I would have accepted. that.
Bria, don't listen
yeah.
to him. You're perfect.
No, listen to me, Bria. I don't like people who are on the path
She's-
to doing things.
Oh,
I like
She's
people who
significantly
I like
smarter
people who
than
are already
Damien.
on the mountaintop. That's who I like. to hang out
Significantly
with.
smarter than we are, especially you.
Thank God.
But we're going to talk to her.
All right. Speaking of how smart I am, let's just do this. Let's start this. Let's go. Come on.
All right.
I hate looking over and seeing Ari without a smile. It makes me feel like I've done something horrible. There it is. There it
waiting
is.
for you.
Okay, let's do it. Come on. Come on. Story of the week.
We're waiting for you.
I know. I'm like, am I supposed to start?
Come on. Do this. I want a little energy. I want Matt to do a yelp or something. An excited whoop. Come on.
I did the whoop before the
Okay,
bell.
you did. All right. Here we go. Story of the week. Number 1. This is how it works. We listed our stories. You vote. That's it. Let's do it.
It's like waiting for the beat to drop. Come on.
I'm excited. I'm
don't leave me
excited.
hanging.
I'm actually I'm stalling because I had a hard. It was a hard time. I had a hard time finding stories of the week. Let's do it. Number 1. This just happened. What all happened this week? So what am I? Who cares? The Supreme Court blocks Biden's vaccine mandate for large employers, and here's a few related stories to go along with the COVID fun. Citigroup prepares to fire unvaccinated workers. Blackstone tells U.S. staff to get boosters or stay away. Nike preparing to fire the unvaccinated. and Quebec's newly announced tax on unvaccinated residents is already working. So that's the backdrop. There we go. Supreme Court blocks Biden's vaccine amendment.
Story of the week.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Look, it's a story. Number 2. Maybe I'm including this one because I'm hopeful, but I'm including like all kinds of regulatory arbitrage here. Right? Okay.
Ooh, I like that idea.
Congress will ban lawmakers stock trading with or without Pelosi's help.
Ooh.
Biden's top economic advisor actually endorses the stock trading ban. I'm just adding that in there. The January 6th committee subpoenas Twitter, Meta, Alphabet, and Reddit. Meta monopoly case. Emma reported on this yesterday from the FTC given a go-ahead. The subtext being here, I wanted to include this other article, the subtext here. Mark Zuckerberg is creating a future that looks like a worse version of the world we already have.
Yes, he is.
So maybe that's an important monopoly case, is what I'm trying to say. And major corporations are back to funding seditionist Republicans. So those are all the kind of regulatory. Yeah, go ahead.
They don't seem to all relate to the stock trading ban. So basically, you're just saying
It's all
shitty stuff in Congress? Or what?
Yeah,
What?
it's all like regulatory federal government nonsense. I don't know.
Right, government
I'm
nonsense.
putting it all-
right.
I'm
Story
putting it
of the
all in the
week is
government
government
nonsense.
nonsense.
Yeah. Number
Why
3.
did the
Yeah.
headline say with or without Pelosi's help? Is she not trying to be helpful?
She's
came out
against. Pelosi's a very
She's also on
notable
her way out.
stockholder. No, but she's also. Oh, is she on her way out? She's a very notable stockholder. She has a shit ton of stock holdings, and her husband
Okay.
as well.
She's in from the Bay Area, right? So like that's like
true.
where
There
you're
you go.
gonna get
I don't know,
you're
what's
gonna
that
get
mean?
the Silicon Valley,
There
you
you
know,
go.
stocky, world.
Bay Area is all about weed, Volkswagen Vanagons, and stock holdings. Stock.
Mannequin. Sorry, go ahead.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
Number 3 story of the week. Carbon emissions increased in 2021, mainly driven by coal, and that climate
Ew.
change overtakes pandemic as the biggest global concern.
That's big.
Do we believe
Yeah,
that?
right. I believe it. I
I believe that it is the
Yeah.
biggest global concern. I don't believe that
Wait, you do believe it and you don't
that
believe
other
it.
people.
She doesn't
Okay,
believe
I
other
just said I
people.
believe it. I'm
Headline-
other people.
Is this
You're
headline
not other
saying that
people.
the perception of people is that this is the greatest threat to existence right now?
That's what the headline says. That's what the article says.
I don't know if it's stating that as, what we should think or stating that as people's.
No, it's a
Like,
poll.
Oh,
It's a
as in,
poll.
is it?
It's a
Oh,
poll.
yeah, it's a survey. It's
Okay.
not
Survey.
saying to you, stop
This is
worrying
their
about the
greatest threat."
pandemic.
And finally, my favorite, I included an offbeat tale here. My favorite offbeat tale of the week. Jamie Dimon's son-in-law caught in $21 million dispute between Apollo and an oil executive. I only include this story because it was revealed to us that Jamie Dimon's son-in-law is named Joey Romeo.
Joey Romeo.
And you
Hey,
So I
want
just
to
thought
say
that was
Joey
a.
Romeo,
This is
so-
Joey
It's an important
Romeo.
story to me, Joey Romeo. Because it's going to be a part of many of our stories and podcasts. So I thought it was an important story because of that. So there you go. Those are my stories. Supreme
What
Court.
do you mean I owe you $20 million?
See?
I'm Joey Romeo.
Supreme Court blocks vaccine mandate. The government's still trying to do stuff with corporations, carbon emissions increase.
What's-
Joey Romeo, come on.
Oh, does
Emma's
anybody
really,
have an immediate
eye rolling
vote?
on these stories. I mean, if
Yeah.
you think I
Joey
missed the story,
Romeo.
help me.
Joey Romeo. Okay, I think
Did I miss the story of the week? Maybe I fucked this up. Sorry.
Maybe
F
you
this up.
did.
Excuse me. Sorry, LinkedIn.
Okay, I
Sorry,
think I'm
LinkedIn.
actually gonna go with number 3, carbon
Ooh, I
emissions.
like when Emma votes first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have been seeing all of these coal headlines, and I think that they need some more news exposure, because for the first time, I think since even many, many years, coal has spiked in terms of usage, despite the fact that hypothetically we're supposed to be phasing it out. But the coal industry is doing very well, if you want to reference the Manchin situation as well.
By the way, that's Emma Lurking. Oh, I love being joined by Emma Lurking. Also joined by the fabulous data queen Ari. I love being joined by Ari, and the chief pundit extraordinaire, the man who was making Scott Galloway sweat through his polo Ralph Lauren golf shirt is the
Tank top.
Tank
I want
top.
tank top.
the
yeah.
force that is Matt Moscardi. Put
I
him on
like
your
that we're
board.
doing-
Put him on your board as your ESG expert. What are you waiting for? Really? Come on, get this guy. Let's go.
I would love to be on your board. Anybody in Croatia who's listening.
Anyway, all right. So that's who we're joined by. Thank you, Emma, for your
For
vote.
reminding you to tell them our names.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me to do the introduction.
Did you remind
20
me that-
minutes into the
where?
show?
No, I think I just started to talk and you like realized that other people were here
Yeah,
as
I
well.
realized.
And you
Well, you know
forgot
what?
to tell.
I want to give people my train of thought here. Is that we call Emma Lurking, but then whenever I make a note about Emma, I write the initials ED because I'm gonna tell people her real name is not Emma Lurking.
You know, they also can't see you writing that note down.
I know, but that's
Remember
why I want to tell people why I thought
wanna
I
be
was
sure
thinking
you
about
know that.
names.
Fair enough.
You know what, Emma? I agree with you.
Thanks for bringing it back.
I don't understand how a dying industry is like it doesn't compute in my head. Oh man, yeah, this needs to
Well,
stop.
well, it would compute if you just factor in the fact that natural gas prices went up and now coal
That's
is
the
cheap
reason.
in comparison.
and
That's
that all the Democratic bluster here in the U.S. does crap because they haven't actually tied anything to anything else. Like they just say they want things to go in the right direction, but they don't actually make it so.
the fact is, this is where, and this is
Blah,
your
blah, blah.
favorite topic ever, Emma, where capitalism fails because the pricing of natural gas and coal is supply demand driven for the most part with regulatory oversight and yada, yada, yada. But it's not like biodiversity supply and demand driven. It's not like, carbon budget supply demand driven. It's just how much am I paying to turn my lights on? And that's it. And so it's not that surprising that carbon emissions went up because coal got cheaper. That was it.
I like how you said paying there like a southerner. Paying.
Paying how much? Well, I was looking at Joey Romeo's name, so I'm like paying. It's not how much you're paying for the thing.
Yeah.
I'm Italian, so I can make fun of Italians. I
Oh.
think that's the way that works.
I'm
Right?
Jewish. I can make fun of Italians too.
I think that's the way that works. I think the big story is actually your government soup mess story.
Yes,
I
thank
did
you.
get the sense this week while I was reading like the news throughout the week. There did seem to be a lot of like government fails and government like moving towards wins this week. It felt like a hot soupy mess of government-y shit to me. And
Well,
it included the things that you're including. It was January 6th, right? Like we're still talking about it this week, even though it happened last week. There was the monopoly case. And then, like the Supreme Court block, I actually put in this government soupy mess. I think that there's a
could
big
very well,
mess
yeah.
there's a big soupy mess of crap that's
Here's-
just happened this week.
Here's where I'm going to agree with Matt is that look, we talk about the alternative democracy here because this is we're ESG experts. This is what we do, but there's a real democracy too, and these are still the only two ways to kind of get your corporations to act in different ways. That's all we really have left. So either we're going to elect officials in the traditional democracy to enact regulations and laws that we care about, or we're going to do it through the shareholder meetings. But so I don't know.
Also for most of the week we've been talking about Russia invading the Ukraine, and now Biden saying we might have to intervene in that. So now we're talking about war, and there's a soupy mess there.
Let them take care
And
of it.
the RNC is pulling out of the debates. Not that the
Right.
RNC goes, but in a world where we talk about transparency all the time and how it's important in any kind of market, when you're buying and selling politicians, don't you want to know what they have to say? And I know they don't like the fact that there's it's a CNN anchor asking questions and he's so biased. And get over
Who used
yourself.
to
Get
work for the DNC.
the actual the head of the presidential debate commission actually was the head of the RNC 20 years ago. So the people that they're against are Republicans from 20 years ago also. Get over
This
yourself.
become the Rachel Maddow hour. What are we doing? Come on, stop.
I'm just saying,
How dare you.
it's all part of the big soupy mess.
I
That's
hear
my
you,
vote.
I hear. Oh well, we got a tie, so the winner goes to Joey Romeo. That's the winner.
Yeah. All right, Joey.
Ass
Romeo
holiest
for
of the week. I
win.
hand it off to you, Matt.
Asshole of the week. I have 3 for you fine folks to choose from. Number 1, asshole. These are in no particular order. Number 1 choice, Kathy Wood, our favorite
Okay.
blowhard, the
Favorite.
head of
Bible
ARK
thumper,
Invest. Here's your headline. Quote, Ford sees its market capitalization soar to $100 billion for the first time as EV ambitions push stock to a 20-year high. Here's the context why I chose that, right? Ford soaring, and this is soaring in air quotes, okay, means it's slightly more valuable than GM and Rivian Automotive. GM's been around for as long as Ford, and they're about $10 billion off each other. Rivian's been around for a hot nanosecond and is worth almost as much as the two of them and doesn't actually
Wow.
sell a product yet.
Damn.
Meanwhile, Tesla is at a $1 trillion valuation, 10
nuts.
times Ford. And here's what Kathy had to say. Here's why where Kathy gets involved. Quote, and she's talking about Ford and GM, but quote, they soared on those electric vehicle announcements. Think about that. That's ridiculous. Kathy,
What? Why? Why is that
What's
ridiculous?
do you taste the irony, Kathy? Can you taste
Yeah.
it anywhere? Ford and GM went up slightly on announcements that they're going to do electric vehicles. Kathy thinks it's ridiculous that their stock went up at all because of announcements about doing electric vehicles.
We're doing a thing.
Rivian and Tesla.
Meanwhile, Tesla turns its first profit in 2020. Congrats to you, Tesla. It only took you 10 years to get there. And their stock has outperformed entirely on the performative tweets of their pedo-hating founder, Elon Musk, suggesting that Tesla
would they
would
like
one day actually be able to make a car.
Wait.
So spare me your incredulity, you ass.
Wait, whoa, whoa! Is that
That's
cool
why
out
you're
of
the asshole of the week.
context? I don't understand that. Is she's that sounds like ridiculous to me. That's
She-
not. There's no other context to that.
There's no other context to that. That was the quote poll.
Why would
and I
introducing
couldn't
a-
find any more about it.
How is it ridiculous anyway? If it's a new product line that is successful or maybe successful, why is that ridiculous in any case? Like why?
Well, well, let's also think about like the ridiculous, like what she's comparing it to, like she's basically saying, oh, they're pivoting into electric, that's so cute, except that we're invested
What?
in the future, right? Like that's her mindset. They have
She's
a big
belittling
Give me a break.
Ford
give
and
me a break.
GM.
That's so
Ark Invest is a
blowhardy, Kathy. You're
huge
so
stake.
blowhardy.
huge stake in Tesla. Meanwhile, Tesla just announced, it was announced a week ago, that they're recalling about 100% of the prior year production.
Oh, Matt, get over it.
I mean, it's unbelievable to me that
Well, look.
that we would.
This is why we lump all this stock market hedge fundy crap into our category called blowhard index, because they say nonsense.
They
I mean,
I thought you were gonna say
I mean-
into one person, and it was Matt.
No, but no, Matt's just a
How dare
blowhard, a whisperer. I mean, I'm gonna I want to hold on to this quote because I want to remember this for later in the year, because this is just for a woman who is so invested into Tesla. I'm just sorry. This quote is.
It's
just
the
blowing my
most.
mind a bit.
I'll
mean,
tell you what's ridiculous.
What
Your
are they?
dumb
But what are
quote,
their
Kathy.
competitors supposed to do? They're supposed to go back to like pre-carburetor engine. Like, what should they do? Just give
That's
up?
what
You know what's funny?
actually. Yeah.
One of my 2022 predictions was going to be that Ford and GM was going to overtake Tesla. However, I'm holding off till 2023 or 2 years after it happens, as I like to do.
Wait, you just threw a lot of numbers out there.
I'm
Did you
trying to
get
do
engaged?
advanced
What are
math.
you saying? Okay.
I need Bria to do the math for me on
Yeah.
this.
Ford and GM, they're going to overtake Tesla in
hope
the
you're
next
right.
couple of years.
Yeah,
They
you
will. I
never
mean,
know. You never know.
It's not that you never know. They've been doing this for so
Well,
long.
the question a lot of people do wonder is when the CEO troll leaves, which is it's going to be relatively soon. What does happen to Tesla?
You're talking about Kimball Musk's brother, right?
Yes.
I
yeah.
do think I was going to rewrite the headline for this to be Ford and GM announced they will burn more fossil fuels to make up for Tesla not burning them, and then maybe Kathy would have thought that was less ridiculous. But that's why Kathy Wood is my first choice.
All right, go ahead.
My second of the week: people who sue celebrity crypto pimps.
Ooh, I like this one.
Why?
Not the
tell me.
celebrities. It's the
No,
people.
not
who
the
are suing them.
celebrities. Not the
sewers,
celebrities.
not the
What's
Here's
sewers.
the crypto
Here's the headline.
pimp?
Here's the headline. Kim Kardashian, Floyd Mayweather Jr., others sued over cryptocurrency promotion. Paul Pierce is the others. They're actually
Paul Pierce,
none of
the
the
Celtics,
the Celtics,
old former
Celtics player.
Really?
Literally, none of the stories had another other except for Paul Pierce. So he's he's others.
Paul
I think.
Pierce, the truth? How dare they?
Yeah, I don't know. But here's what Kim wrote. Okay, quote. And she wrote this on Instagram or Twitter. Somewhere
Her
she has 20
favorite
million
medium.
followers. I don't know, some stupid outlet.
Doesn't
Quote, are
matter.
you guys into crypto? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. It was on Instagram.
Sounds like Ari.
Quote, this is not financial advice, but sharing what my friends just told me about Ethereum Max token.
It feels like financial advice, though, right? If she's going to publish
Sub
it.
asshole move of the week. Writing this is not financial advice
sorry.
and then giving financial advice is
Sorry, I
an
stepped-
asshole move.
Yeah, sorry, I stepped on your punchline.
You're stepping on my
Right?
button.
It does. It
That's fine.
feels a lot like it, doesn't it? Especially with
That's true.
the four question marks is that's what they teach you that in business school, like when you're giving financial advice. Like push in
sure.
with punctuation.
I'm pretty sure Emma's learning at
Make it
Wharton right
cool.
now that you have to add 4 question marks whenever you're about to give financial
Be
advice.
relatable.
Here is, though, the reason why it's the
Yeah.
people suing
I
that
need
are the
explanation.
assholes, the real assholes here.
Yeah.
This is our society. We are so absorbed with entertainers that we're
Yeah.
turning to them for advice on fake currencies, and then we're surprised when it's a scam. Ethereum Max lost 97% of
Ooh.
its value in what's
Wait,
being
what?
called a crypto pump and dump, where the
Ugh.
Ethereum Max released a token. They got a couple of celebrities to talk about it. They gave the celebrities some tokens for free, apparently, or and then they might have sold them. Some of this is unclear, but
Damn.
they're calling it a pump and dump. Here's
that
some
legal?
other. Well, no, that's why they're being sued.
Okay.
But
Right.
but the fact that of Kim Kardashian's 200 million followers,
Mm-hmm.
some portion of them went out and bought this dumb thing because
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian
Yeah.
said to do it, is the real problem here. Here are some other celebrities in the crypto NFT game. Just short list: Naomi Osaka, Snoop Dogg, Lionel Messi,
Snoop Dogg.
Zuckerberg, Musk,
What?
Paris
I
Hilton.
guess that's true. Yeah.
Wait, I don't understand. These people bought, or are these people also telling
They're pushing.
their followers?
Pushing.
They're pushing it or
Wow.
they're interested in it. Jack Dorsey. Oh,
Yeah,
P.S. When I say Zuckerberg, I also mean Randy Zuckerberg, the sister of Mark Zuckerberg, who's basically
that
started
true?
a crypto exchange. Yes, this is all true.
Yeah, because
I'm not making
Elon
this
Musk
up.
just said today that you can use Dogecoin to buy Tesla merchandise. So he's always pushing Dogecoin.
And all of the apparently Formula One, NASCAR's Formula One, they actually had a Doge car, and earlier this year.
You know, you're forgetting a big one, Matt, and that for us, especially for us here in New England, our native son, our Goodwill Hunting, our genius janitor, he's been doing Matt Damon. He's been doing some creepy crypto.com commercials that have been blasting
Oh, I've
everywhere.
seen those.
I used to assume that he was at a level of intelligence right above saying yes to doing crypto.com commercials, but I'm mistaken clearly.
Well,
We're-
you're talking
Yeah.
about the man who was using the F slur until his teenage daughter
The
told
F
him
slur?
that he shouldn't.
Oh yeah. Look,
Mhm.
his mom's a teacher, my mom's a teacher. I just assume he's good. Okay,
Like,
sorry.
no, the fact is, Matt Damon's closer to Joey Romeo than he is to like anybody else. I mean, we got to
Yeah,
be
probably
honest.
true.
You know,
Like,
I
he's
saw
got-
those commercials during the college football championship game or whatever. So
Right. Yeah,
Oh, was Kyle
they
watching
know who
it?
they're targeting.
UMass lost that one, didn't they?
Was Kyle watching, or how was that on in your house?
Kyle's watching.
Yeah,
Poor
Kyle.
Kyle.
It was so annoying. I wanted to watch the Harry Potter thing on HBO, and I get
Oh, I
home
watched
and
that.
it's like,
I watched that.
oh,
Yeah,
anyway.
that
Very
was
good.
so
Very
boring
good.
to me.
No.
Okay, so the reason why, like, look, this is pre-regulatory pump and dump scams. This is classic. It happens all the time. It's gold rushy behavior, and regulators are going to swoop in and be like, "Oh, P.S. You can't do all this stuff. It's ridiculous." Everybody who's pushing it right now is getting paid to push it. And if you are so naive that when some dumbass who you follow on Instagram says to do a thing, you do the thing,
Right,
maybe
then-
you need to check your priorities. You're the asshole, not them. It's you.
Wow. Okay, wait. So
Mm-mm.
circling back, Okay, I get it. It's the people who are suing celebrity crypto pimps. Right,
Yes.
they're the asshole. Got it.
I always have to do the one where I flip the headline on its head.
Yeah,
Emma's
They're the
like,
dummies.
angry
I'm
about
ready.
this.
You need to get through the third one because I have some things to say.
All right,
I'm
go
sure you
ahead.
do.
Hopefully with
I'm
some
sure it's gonna be
buzzes.
about a marginalized community of Thomas Jefferson Canadians who shouldn't be in crypto. Number 3 option here:
Buzz them. Come on.
the unvaccinated.
Wow.
They're
You already
assholes. They're
mentioned
the
them.
assholes of the week.
Yeah, well, you
The
mentioned the
unvaccinated.
headlines, right? Like Quebec and their health tax on the
What is this
unvaccinated.
Quebec?
Damien actually said Quebec, but we'll let it
Yeah.
slide.
We're in
I mean,
America.
I did live there. Give me a effing
I
break.
eat freedom fries. I don't know
Alright.
what you eat.
Poutine fries.
The Croatian tennis player whose name Djokovic, who I know
Serbian.
I'm going to say it, Serbian. I don't know what he is.
Serbian.
All the stuff around him. We
Mm-hmm.
talked last week about the Utah Tech founder and his
Oh, stop
anti-Semitic,
talking about him. Yeah.
anti-vax email campaign. Marjorie Taylor Greene last week getting banned from Twitter and Facebook for a hot second over COVID misinformation, vaccine misinformation. Look, this isn't the unvaccinated are assholes for the reason you think they are.
Okay.
I'm not here to berate you for not being vaccinated. Frankly, with this new variant, I don't care if you get vaccinated.
I
Don't.
care.
What do I care?
I
I'm
care.
not going to give you stats about how it matters. It's a waste of my time. Mostly, the reason why you unvaxxed are assholes is because you are sucking so much media attention away from what is the real true asshole of the universe, the creation of the metaverse, the next frontier in social engineering.
Okay.
I don't want
Matt
I
can't quit
don't-
it. Okay.
If you don't want a vaccine to save your life or someone else's, that's great. Just shut the fuck up so we can pay attention to the
Matt.
crypto metaverse land that is ruining society. Just
You say that, Matt, but
Yeah.
the metaverse solves for this problem by
Right.
It won't matter because if you're at home in the metaverse, it doesn't matter. You can't catch anything, or you can't spread it because you're gonna be sitting on your meta diaper in your meta living room.
Okay,
I can't wait till you pay to go to the meta station to get your meta vaccines.
Your meta
So
shots.
that you're allowed to go into
Do you have to
your
meta commute
theme
to do that
parks.
on the meta
Look, the
T?
fact is, Frank from Walmart is coming in your house to put your real food in the refrigerator. How do you know that guy's not vaccinated? He's going to give it to you. You're not safe. You should get vaccinated.
I
But
forgot
that's not the
about
point.
Frank. I forgot about Frank.
I don't want to talk about you being vaccinated or unvaccinated anymore. Go spend the rest of the endemic in the hospital. Just let me focus on the real shit.
All right.
Please.
How dare
Those
you?
are my 3
All right.
choices. The
That's
unvaccinated.
funny coming from a doctor's husband. I don't care if people are vaccinated or not.
I've stopped caring.
Don't
My
shame
wife
him.
just deals with everything.
I've
Don't-
stopped
don't
caring
shame
about
him.
all of it.
So Kathy Wood,
the sewers of
the
the
sewers.
celebrity crypto pimps, and the unvaccinated for sucking the
Unvaccinated.
air out of the metaverse.
Anybody
For
ready?
taking up
Or you
too
want me to
much
go?
room.
I'm ready.
Go ahead, Emma Lurking.
Okay, so
You really? Can I just say, Emma really she really lived up to her moniker for this segment because
She lurked, yeah.
because she had a
She's
lot
waiting.
to say. I know Emma pretty well at this point. I can even in a sea of beige, I can tell when she's percolating, and she lurked through that whole segment. Ari and I were talking like a-holes, and she was lurking, ready to burst. Emma Lurking, take it away. Come on.
She did not
Okay.
like the stewing one.
Did not.
I'm gonna nix the unvaccinated because they should be vaccinated, and I don't care about metaverse attention quite as much as Matt seems to. So
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
then we are left with 2. We are left with suing the people who are suing celebrity crypto pimps, and we are left with Kathy Wood. My answer is Kathy Wood. It's very obvious why my answer is
Why?
Kathy Wood. She very clearly is an asshole, hypocrite, the whole 9. But what is more important
Tell us why. Yeah.
is why it is not suing celebrity crypto pimps. That is not the
Huh?
reason why is because, first of all, we are sitting here as 4 college educated, pretty privileged people.
Oberlin, McGill.
I thought you said pretty. I was like, yeah.
I mean, we're pretty.
I
as
went to
well,
school in
but that's not
Ohio. How
quite as
smart could I be?
important. But
Okay, McGill.
the fact that we are blaming an uneducated, like huge cohort of Americans who have not been given the skills by our education system to discern what is legit and what isn't is not their fault. We can call them like stupid and idiots all day long, but it is a failing of our education system and the informational system of the powers that be that they do not know any better. That is not their fault. So therefore, Matt tried to flip a headline on its head, and I'm going to flip it back right
Ooh.
onto its feet where it
Nice.
belongs, and
Well,
blaming the celebrities.
You could say the same thing about the unvaccinated, though, too, right? I mean, it's the same category of
Kind of,
idiocy.
Look,
For sure,
thi-
100%.
This to me is part of the overarching story of 2022, which we've already laid out in our predictions pod. If you haven't seen it or heard it, go get it.
Yeah.
Which is due diligence.
Do yourself
is
a
dead.
favor. Do yourself a favor. Forget all that stuff you read on Forbes and
Yeah, they don't know what they're
Fortune
talking
and Wall Street Journal.
The real
MSCI. Come
blowhards
on,
are right
listen to
here.
us. Come on.
The fact is due diligence is dead. It's not the college educated piece of this.
That might be
Sure,
true.
with this one, okay, we can presuppose that a lot of these people are less educated and they buy and they listen. I'll crib note it for you. Don't do that. But maybe you're not educated enough to know. Fine, whatever. Maybe you feel like you trust that person because you follow them on Instagram. Good for you. I can't help you with that. But you shouldn't sue them when you lose all your money. Why? Because like college educated Thronos investors and non-college educated crypto pimp investors, all you're doing is looking at a shiny object and looking for a get rich quick buck.
Wait, why did we let him
All
get
you
rolling again?
want
Why are we
is
letting
no
him get rolling
due
again?
diligence.
Yeah,
But
go ahead.
That's
Emma.
what you
why
want.
Are we so okay? They didn't do their due diligence. Fine, they should have done that. But why are we blaming people more for not doing their due diligence than the people who actively knew that they're exploiting people with a pump and dump?
Wait, whoa! Here's where I'm going
Celebrities
to
don't
disagree with you.
actively
Here's where I'm
know.
going to disagree with you. What makes you think that people like Kim Kardashian and Floyd Mayweather know anything about anything? I mean, although Kim Kardashian,
The
she
people that
probably
hired
is-
them.
Because
no.
they're in
I think Kim
positions of
Kardashian is
enormous
legit.
power, and they have every resource in the world to understand what they're doing.
Well-
and so the onus does land on them,
No,
I'm
we
gonna-
fetishize them. That's why we put the onus
and
on
they
them.
gonna-
exploit
shouldn't.
that.
We
I'm going to
shouldn't.
agree
We
with you,
shouldn't.
Emma, for a different reason. I'm going to agree with you on Kathy Wood being the asshole of the week, but because really it's all just speculation. Like really, that's what they're all doing is just like, just asking you to speculate on something you know nothing about. Speculate about the future, and maybe you'll get rich. But I'm applauding Kathy Wood for my favorite blowhard quote of the year so far. They soared on those electric vehicle announcements. Think about that. That's ridiculous. Hey, Kathy, I
Save it.
did think about it. I thought about it in the time it took me to read that sentence, and there's just absolutely nothing ridiculous about a car stock soaring on the announcement of an exciting new EV car line for people like me and Ari, who I can tell you firsthand are excited to buy our first electric vehicles. Ari and I both are very excited about this, Kathy Wood, and despite
Like
your
Rivian.
favorite,
I'm not
your
going to go
favorite-
support Rivian.
and I'm not going to support your boy toy, Kimball Musk's brother, because the dude is an a-hole.
I would, but I can't afford it.
See, I'm the opposite. I actually am going to listen to our reporting. I cannot support that dude anymore. So I probably will be supporting Ford or GM. Anyway,
I'm so sorry.
that's my vote.
But by the
Soar?
way,
Yeah,
Matt,
go ahead, Emma.
you just said, what do Kim
Yeah.
Kardashian or Floyd Mayweather know about crypto? So they didn't do their due diligence either. So shouldn't they be sued?
Ooh.
They're not buying the crypto. They're being handed advertising dollars
Yes,
for the
they
crypto.
did. They bought the crypto, advertised the crypto, and when it shot up, they then sold their crypto. That's what a
Yeah.
pump and dump scam is.
All you're
Ooh.
doing is saying that I'm easily advertised to. That's all
But
you're
how can
saying.
you make the
because
case that you can
the
sue
fact
them,
is,
Emma? I don't get that part of it.
if someone is selling you
Because they
something,
did it en masse. They didn't say to their friend, like, oh, there's this cool crypto you should invest in. They said it to hundreds of millions of
because
people
they were
knowing
paid
full well.
to do that.
Yeah.
If they're saying
Oh.
that, if they're giving out free advice about a token to 200 million people, you think there's not something in it for them? That's
Of
not
course
like
there is.
if you go to a car dealership, you know you're being sold to. These people, all they're doing is selling to you. They're just doing it on Instagram instead. That to
But
me
if Kim
is the
Kardashian,
disconnect.
but if Kim Kardashian advertised a product that like, I don't know, made
Burnt
your
your
skin
skin.
clear within 24
Right.
hours. And that's how
Ooh.
it was advertised. And then
My
it
daughter
didn't
would like
do
that.
that thing, but she promoted it. She is liable for that. Is
No,
she
the
not?
company is
but I
liable
thought
for that.
all skin. I
They
thought all
hired
skin
her
products
as an
were lies.
advertiser.
What do you mean? Okay.
Oh.
All right. Let's move on. Come on.
I think Kathy Wood is just pissed that she didn't see this coming and say it
What?
first.
Whoa. Say that. What?
Kathy Wood.
That's your
Kathy?
vote?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you think she's doing?
She's
I
pissed.
heard
She didn't
pissing
see
in
it
the
just
coming.
wind.
pissed.
No,
Oh,
not
she's
pissing
pissed.
in the wind.
I heard
pissed
piss and
against his
shit,
car.
and I was like, "What? Ari? What's Ari
No,
doing
she
here?"
said none of those things.
Okay, so
is-
you're
I
also voting for
cannot
Kathy Wood.
believe- I
Clean
Yeah,
sweep.
she's a sore loser.
Clean sweep. Kathy Wood.
I
That's what we're
can't.
doing.
I cannot believe nobody chose the unvaccinated. Come on,
Oh,
you
get
have
over
to
it.
be as obsessed with the metaverse
Matt,
as I am.
will. I'm going to take your perspective that you always crap on me for this reason. Is that really of the week? I mean, we're talking about this is like a 18-month story
This
now.
was
I
a
mean, these
huge
people have been asked. They're
metaverse week.
constantly assholes. They're constantly assholes.
This is a
It
huge
was such a
metaverse.
That's
big
our
week
point. That's our
that
point.
Matt and I went on the metaverse.
Seriously,
yesterday
Ari and I
for the
went for a
first
tour of the
time.
metaverse. Basically, Ari spends all of her time on her
All right.
computer with somebody else walking through fake lands. That's what she did all week.
Wait, you're talking about me here. Wait, keep that
yeah,
thought.
you and me.
Keep your metaverse thought. Oh, I said fart. I don't know how that happened. What is a meta fart? Thank God. Maybe that's better than a real one. Okay, keep the thought. We introduce our new segment, Fancy Expert Time. As Matt and Emma alluded to, they sat down with our fancy expert. I'm going to let you guys introduce. Take it away. You come on, do it. Thank you.
All right. So we have our lovely fancy expert, Bria, who, like we mentioned earlier, is the author of a fantastic opinion piece that you can, if you put it into Google, you'll find it. It's not that
Opinion
hard.
piece.
It's about bias and inequality in the metaverse, soon to be. And the article is called "I'm a Black Woman and the Metaverse Scares Me. Here's how to make the next iteration of the internet inclusive." And I will let her actually introduce herself. Ready?
Let's do it.
My name is Bria Dayamo, and I'm a doctoral candidate in communication at the University of Illinois at Chicago. My research focuses on the intersection of technology and democracy, and I often employ a racial and social justice lens to my work. My overarching goal is really to democratize technology, which means basically imbuing technology with democratic values.
Love
So-
that idea.
She's obviously sick. We love her.
I might
Yeah,
quit this
terribly
job when
Obviously
she.
sick.
Yeah,
dare you.
it was the only word that could like just encompass how amazing I find her. Sorry. But we talked about a lot of metaverse stuff, every metaversian thing you can imagine. But I'm going to start you off with some of her concerns about how issues within social media will translate to the metaverse. It's
Ooh, I like this.
the closest comp, so this was really great. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
I think really on social media specifically, research has shown that Black female politicians and journalists have been disproportionately targeted with abusive tweets, and Black and Latino voters were targeted in online misinformation. I talk about all this in an article, and I think what concerns me is that if left unchecked, while also becoming more ubiquitous, these AI systems will likely continue to promote racism and other forms of injustices as well.
Well,
She
it's
was
like
deep in.
Yeah. It's like the quote. It's like the headline I cited earlier. Mark Zuckerberg is creating a future that looks like a worse version of the world we already have. Because I'm thinking when she's saying that, I'm thinking of Kamala Harris and the amount of like constant abuse she gets in the real world. So it doesn't surprise me that the concern is here is that without the proper checks, that the metaverse is going to sort of exponentially make that problem worse. Right.
Right. And she says, if left unchecked. And we've had Facebook and Twitter
Oh,
for how
it
many
will
years
be.
now? And what the heck have we done so far?
All right, because what they don't know how to. The people we elect, and probably the boards of directors too at corporations, they don't know how to check it. I wish they just admit it. I wish they just stand up all the boards of directors, everyone in Congress, said, like, we don't know what's going on. Like we don't fundamentally we don't comprehend this. Like we don't know how it began. We don't know what it's currently doing, and we don't know what's going. So. Like
give us a framework to work
give us a
around.
lifeline. Like
But
it's
this
terrible.
is the same as with the banks, right? Like the Congress turns to the banks to ask them how to regulate the banks, and it's like if you're going to ask Twitter and Facebook and how do we stop racial bias in algorithms? you think they're going to be the ones
Yeah.
to answer it? The
Well, that's-
only thing
There
you
is
can
no
do is shut
problem.
it down.
Yeah, well, that's where Zuckerberg is the best, I think, at being the evil genius, because he always, like Djokovic, he always volleys that one back with, like, we're ready. Go ahead, regulate us. We want you to regulate us. He always says that.
And speaking of that, like the next thing she was talking about is actually like a little bit about who I think the clip we have is who sort of constructs the metaverse, right? Like
Spoiler.
Yeah.
yeah.
So speaking of regulation, one of the things that we were talking about with Bria is, so like you said, we don't know anything. What do we do? Like,
Thank
how
you.
do we regulate? And so she had a pretty transparent answer.
I think one of the
Oh.
things that's
No
really
puns.
important for us to consider is transparency, and to think about how we might regulate transparency, right? Because I think transparency ultimately goes in hand with accountability, right? Because if we know someone is watching, then we might adjust just a little bit, right? We might conform just a little bit. And so I think that is very important for us to think about. How do we regulate transparency within the technology industry? You know, the vice president of Metaverse at Meta now, I keep wanting to call it Facebook, but at Meta now.
We do.
It is Facebook.
We do.
It's Zuckerberg. It's what it is. It's nothing.
Vishal Shah, one of the things that he argues about the company is that, Facebook, Meta, we've learned from our past, we've learned, from our struggles of content moderation, and that they are trying to build sort of safety and privacy into the metaverse. And I think that if the company wants the public to really trust that they are building safety and privacy, right, into this metaverse, into this sort of next iteration of the internet, then they need to be transparent about how they plan to do that, right? Because why should we take your word for it, especially considering the history of Facebook?
Yeah.
So-
The
Trust
problem
on
there is- the
Facebook
problem there is
/
that they need-
Meta, 0.
0. So
Right.
regulation,
Especially from the community that get harassed over and over.
correct.
I gotta say, like, that is probably the best way to start this process. I mean, I'm gonna agree with her there, because I was kind of jokingly ranting about how no one understands it, but the reality is, if that's the case, if that's where you're starting from, then just getting it all out there, starting with just sort of like an open source mentality, is probably the best first way to start to combat this.
Well, that's the fascinating part, right? Like the engineers of the metaverse are the same people who are the most anti-source in the world. They're largely private equity backed. They're
Right,
all
right.
about their own IP. They're sort of libertarian in a lot of their ethos. We looked at the Meta Bros. We've done the study on the Meta Bros, who are basically the engineers, the architects of what will be the metaverse. These companies, who's their management teams, who's on their boards, and it's mostly like private equity people, mostly white men. It's exactly what you'd expect coming out of the world we have today, going
It's
into that
unchecked,
world.
yeah.
And transparency is anathema to their existence. The last thing they want is transparency, because
Right.
that's IP. For them, it's like, well, you're asking
Yeah.
us to give away our secret sauce. If your
Which is how
secret
they
sauce
get-
is racism, then yes, we want that to be given away, but we can't know until we see.
And the best thing about secret sauces in this free market is that that's what speculation is all about, right? Like, you're investing in what you hope is an amazing secret, right? Because I it's part of this game. Someone, was it you, Ari, who in your predictions talked about regulating space? Who was talking about regulating space?
That was Emma.
Emma.
Me, that
Emma.
was me.
So this is what I'm thinking here, is like a perfect opportunity to, like we did with space, I don't know how many decades ago. How about just a moratorium? Why don't we just start with a moratorium on establishing, like, who controls what in the metaverse? Why don't we just get ahead of it, so that we don't, 15 years from now, we're not looking back again, scratching our heads, being like, well, it's too late now. It's like, we can't really do anything about it now. Like, why don't we, like, get ahead of it and put up some, like, immediate guardrails?
Honestly, the craziest part about talking to Bria for me was how, like, I was the whole conversation. I was like, we are fucked.
Oh,
And she
no.
was the exact opposite. Like she
Oh,
was
good.
like,
See,
not,
we need to
not,
invite her
There
more
are
here.
not
always
yet.
opportunities.
I mean,
that's
she
true.
was
That's
so
true.
hopeful. She was so
Yeah.
hopeful.
She
That's
was super
good.
hopeful, and I feel like we need a little bit of her hopefulness. So here she is being a little hopeful.
My name is Bria Dayamo, and I'm
Oh,
a doctoral
Oh,
candidate in
no,
community.
Whoopsie.
My
that's
name
not
is
her being
Bria.
hopeful. That's her
Stop
reintroducing
introducing
So
yourself,
herself.
sorry.
Bria. We come on, stop it.
Bria, come
She
on.
herself is a hopeful person. I get it,
I'm
Emma.
so sorry. I'm having a slight technical issue right now, but she was feeling very hopeful.
Matt,
And
I'm
she
glad you
wanted
pointed
to,
that out
yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't want you to get all our people down.
right.
Yeah, it's mostly
Who are
Matt
our
who.
people?
It's mostly Matt who peddles
You
in
know,
the
our
hopelessness.
listeners and viewers.
We have those on those? I don't
Yes, we do. See?
Well,
that's
the one of the things at the end of the interview that she mentioned is that she wanted to leave our viewers and listeners with two thoughts, and they were really great thoughts. So here's
Two.
that.
Okay, all right. I can barely.
I'm
hear
going to
you.
reiterate, what you said earlier, Matt. One, technology is never neutral,
I
right?
said.
Our technologies, they mediate, they amplify things, they intervene in our communicative acts and so forth. And they do so in ways that affect our present and our future. And then two, I want to leave us with this idea that technology cannot solve all of our social problems. And so I want us to be cautious of always looking to technology for solutions to our human problems, right? And we've seen that in many cases, they can worsen our social issues in unforeseen ways, right? We see that with social media. And so those are the things that I want us to be left with. If we take nothing else from this conversation,
I almost thought. I mean, as much as I agree there, I thought we were actually beyond the point of thinking that technology can help us solve social problems.
Well,
Aren't
no,
we
I
like
think
kind of
that's
full circle where we think it's like creating them.
isn't that the built-in joke of the meta diaper? We literally we're talking about like in a
No,
way
that's not
it's
a
like
joke.
but in a way it's like medicine, right? Like so you think you can take a pill to make you healthy,
Oh,
but
okay,
the pill
right.
has
Like an
side
Apple
effects.
Watch.
And someone takes another pill for the side effects of
Right,
the
right.
first pill, and pretty soon you're in this cycle. We effectively are in the same technological cycle where it's like now we're going to build the metaverse and we think it's going to solve some like we can all be our avatars and we don't have to worry about
Sure.
certain whatever, and it's going to exacerbate other things. And what are the other pills we're going to take? That to me is the meta diaper. Like it's
Right.
like it's like
Well,
the
everything's the
extension
meta
of it.
diaper. Yeah. Wait,
Everything's a meta diaper.
before we move on, I want to hear some of that hopefulness, Emma. Do you have that clip?
Yeah. So
So I want to feel better. Come on.
give me 1 second. But mostly what she was saying was that if we should not be depriving ourselves of things that can move us forward and that can be fun just because there are potential risks. And so she is hopeful about the
Right.
metaverse. Yeah. And she has a really interesting outlook considering all of the things that she points out as potential dangers. But she does have hope for the metaverse because it could be something beneficial for humanity. We just need to intervene early enough so
Right.
that all of these problems get mitigated.
Like a lot of the things that we discuss here, it's really about who takes control of it, right? I mean,
I think that's it. I mean, look, I think like we make jokes about the metaverse and I'm terrified of it and all that kind of stuff. But I think that in a nutshell sums it up, which is if there's an action item on the metaverse, and I think Bria would agree in some ways because we talked, sort of in pre-production and then in post-production, we were just chatting a little bit and we were talking about, I made her an offer and I was like, hey, if you ever get to the point where you're talking about thinking of like a capital market finance investor solution to this problem of technology and racial bias or race, how these things intersect, particularly around the metaverse. If you're ever looking for like a platform to sort of like think about an investor campaign around the metaverse, I do think that's where change actually happens. If you look at the boards of these companies, they're largely diverse. But if you look at the management teams, particularly the big companies, right? But if you look at the management teams, they're mostly they're 89% white. They're 66% male, white male. That means like in every one of those management discussions, they're the ones building the algorithms. Why don't investors put pressure on these boards to say, how white is the metaverse going to be? Because already we have evidence that and Bria talks about this in our article, that they're charging different amounts for avatars dark-skinned avatars cost different amounts than light-skinned avatars. Already, the default setting, and Ari and I can attest to this, having
gross.
gone into Decentraland the other day, which is a metaverse thing. The default setting when you open up what your avatar is going to look like is a white male, right? Like that's the default setting.
BWG, boring white guy.
And that's like a natural state for a white guy who's programming the algorithm to set it, but it's not the natural state of the universe, the real people in the real world.
Right.
And I think that is the interesting play here.
Yeah.
It was awesome talking to her.
It was
You wanna play
awesome
the clip?
talking to her. And yep, we have our final clip.
Yeah,
All right,
let's
Nice
leave
way to
feeling
end
let's
hopeful.
play her
Come on.
out. Play us
Come on,
out.
I want to feel hopeful.
Play us
Come on.
But I think that without hope, right, without some expectation, without some desire, then no one will do this work. And if no one does it, right, then we risk the same injustices, not only for ourselves, but for future generations as well. And so I have to remain hopeful, right? Because hope is a motivator and hope is very, very compelling. And so, like I mentioned, I'm not against the metaverse, but I am hopeful for a democratically accountable metaverse. We don't want to deny ourselves of something because of the fears of the injustices that we might face within that very thing, right? The issue is to not abandon the project, right? The issue is to think about how we make the project better for us. And so I think we can think in that way about the metaverse.
Yeah, congratulations, Bria. Really awesome. I liked it.
One of the theories behind the Trump administration, supposedly espoused by Steve Bannon, is that the more chaos that you sow
Yeah.
across the
like
across the
sow
people.
is a
Sorry,
female cow.
I got pig on my mind. The more chaos you spread, it has the effect of diminishing things like hope, because I think you kind of you let go of this idea that you can affect change, because you're in the process of giving. They want you to give up. That's sort of the effect. And when you, so I mean, I just like, it's a very important point to end on, that as much as we kind of fear and crap on the metaverse, without trying to take hold of its mechanism and having an effect on it, it's gonna become what we fear the most.
That was Bria Adeyemo, our fancy expert of the week. And I will say this: if you are like an ESG person listening to the show, go hire someone like her. Go hire her and ask her. She's not in this world, but there is a
Today
when I was talking to her, I felt the disconnect between what we read and do in sort of the business world, even in ESG, and what real people who are looking at real problems sometimes do. And like she's in academia, but she's studying real problems. And there's a disconnect between like the solutions I think of first and foremost and the way that she thinks first and foremost. Go hire a person like her. Just ask her for help.
Is her article available online?
It's everywhere online. Yeah, you search her name.
We'll link to it on our website that no one goes to, but you will today. You're going to flock to it. All right. Thank you, Bria. And Bria. And I never have spoken to the woman, but she did tell me that she agrees with everything I say and think. Everything, 100%. All right.
Allegedly.
That's our new segment, Fancy Expert Time. And we have another Fancy Expert coming next week. Do you want to tease who is joining us next week, Matt?
Yeah, so next week we are talking to a dude named Anuj Shah. He's an ESG consultant. He is he's actually going to play some games with us. He's going to do a bunch of stuff. He's going to play. The tease here is we're going to play the good game next week.
Ari
and
loves the good
he
game.
is going to be a participant in the good game next week. So our fancy
Is he taking
expert.
my spot?
No, he's taking my spot.
No one would ever
Nice.
take your spot, Ari.
Arbiter of truth. So
Wow.
he's
Back up.
he's-
Let me ask you
yeah.
this. Is he an ESG expert?
he
Would you
un-
give him a shirt? Would you give him a shirt?
Ooh.
I would give him one shirt from the Free Float Etsy store.
that's-
From
Yes,
my
enough.
closet.
Just one shirt though. He's not
That's
a
next
dual shirt
week.
expert.
Fancy Expert Time. The ESG expert Anuj. All right, come on. Let's go.
Hey,
Move
and
on.
if you're a fancy expert, reach out to us. We like
reach out
fancy
to us.
experts now. We'll
nice
play
to them.
games.
We promise.
Yeah.
We're
We'll
doing
put
a
our
thing.
fancy pants on to talk to you.
Yeah, we'll put our business
Alright.
pants on. There you go. All right, good. It's now. Let's move on. Come on, come on, come on. Ring us
I'm
out.
glad
Come
we're
on,
moving
Emma.
to sweet,
Come on.
sweet Ari over there with Goodliest of the Week.
Come on, ring us out. Yes, good leads of the week. Let's do it. Come on, Art. Yeah.
So this week I had a lot of trouble, and
Why?
guess who helped me out?
A
Who?
cat.
The guy in charge of Asshole of the Week.
Yeah, I chose the goodliest of the week.
Okay, well, I'm afraid of this list then.
You should be afraid. But anyway, the story I'll start with today is speaking about transparency in the metaverse. Made me think of Google.
Woohoo!
The National Labor Relations Board, a judge from there about this case, they ruled that Google can't hide documents showing their anti-union campaign. So this ruling came from, I don't know if
Okay.
you remember, but in December 2020, they're being sued because the National Labor Board is alleging that Google violated U.S. labor law by spying on and firing employees who were organizing protests and trying to unionize. So the documents in question, the ones that Google does not want to give up, the ones that have been subpoenaed, they involve their consultant, RIRI. Oh my gosh, that's difficult to say.
IRI.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah, a consultancy who is known for anti-union messaging and message amplification strategies that companies hire them so they don't have union problems. Anyway, there's documents that go between them, and Google CC'd, I'm assuming emails could CC'd or whatever, their lawyers, and they were claiming attorney-client privileges and saying you cannot have this
Super
because it was through our attorney. And a judge was
Okay.
like, no, just because you CC your lawyer does not mean
Yeah, because
these
you
are
could
off
CC
limits.
your whole life to your lawyer, and then you could just go kill everybody.
That's what I said. I'm like, I have
Yeah.
plenty of lawyer friends. I'm going to CC them on everything I do, just in case.
Plenty of lawyer
She's
friends.
making
What
an
kind of life are you
avocado
living?
toast. She's
Yeah.
seeing a copy of the toast.
Wait, so who's the good? The National Labor Relations Board?
The good is that they
The
can't hide the
ruling.
documents.
The ruling.
Yeah.
Got it. The ruling. I like it.
They got to show their stuff. So anyway,
You gotta show
Take
their
it
stuff.
off.
Now.
Unfortunately, Ari, not to. I'm not gonna. No, I'm
what?
not gonna crap on it
Rain
now.
on my
I can say-
parade. Come
I
on.
can say if any company that knows how to hide their stuff,
I
probably
know, I
probably
thought
would
that
be
too,
Alphabet.
Damien.
Yeah, I know. But whatever.
I'm like,
whatever.
how is anyone going to stand up to this group
Yeah.
of people who's just going to hide their things? Anyway, we got to trust the process sometimes, okay?
Okay.
This is the best we can do.
I like
Hope.
that.
Okay.
Also, number 2, today, this is fresh news, you guys.
Ooh, I like Fresh.
Okay.
Fresh.
Folks, fresh. President Biden nominated 3 candidates
Oh, I
to the
read this,
Federal
yes,
Reserve
yes.
Board. If approved, this would make the 7-person board the most diverse it's been in its 108-year history. He's
Okay, yeah.
nominating.
Do you have
Two-
details on
So 2
why?
of the 3 are women.
Yeah. Okay.
2 of the 3 are black. 2
Right.
of the 3 come from they're researchers at universities, actually. So,
Yes. Just like
Well,
Bria.
and you know why this is important, right?
I mean,
Matt,
tell us.
tell us why.
well, so the Fed sets monetary policy in the country for right. So so the Fed, imagine, just think of it this way: for 108 years, white people have decided what the government is going to do with money and inflation and monetary policy.
Yeah.
Now you have a situation in which some not white people and not mostly men also can make those decisions. I am very excited about the potential different decisions that might happen as a result. Yeah, you never know, but just having someone with different perspective,
Being in the room.
it's gonna.
course.
Oh God, don't you Hamilton this show? No, there's
And not just
no
in the room. It's a bit
Hamilton
more than in
quotes.
the room.
Well, that
it's
is
very
the first
exciting.
barrier,
Yeah.
Damien.
It's
God.
very exciting.
Anyway.
No, it's
and
great.
my-
It's great. And
my
that's so.
number
That's
3.
number 3.
That
Number
was
3.
that was
Good
yeah, that
leads
was
of the
number
week.
2.
Good least of the week. And I only picked this as good least of the week because I woke up to it and I giggled.
That counts.
There's- I called it Joke on Djokovic.
Okay.
Very
So,
nice.
Yeah, no
Australia
puns. This is
said,
no puns.
just kidding.
Fun. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's just
It's
a joke.
kind of a pun.
So, Australian immigration minister canceled Djokovic's visa for the second time. And I don't know if you remember, but on Monday, this past Monday, a judge ordered his release from being detained after a few days. Then, 2 days after, on Wednesday, he admitted that he had lied on his travel document things that he presented to border officials. So he will be detained again tomorrow, but not because he's presenting false information in his travel documents or because they think that he poses a health risk to the Australian people, but because officials believe his presence in the country poses a risk to anti-vax sentiment.
Ooh.
Like, come on, that's just funny. The Australian Open begins on Monday, and their reigning champion, I don't know if he will make it or not.
Okay, so we have President Biden.
You just sound excited, Damien. Come on.
No, I'm just recapping.
We're recapping.
President Biden, 3 candidates to the Federal Reserve Board, 2 of whom are diverse. That's what we're saying. First black female board member, and another black man.
I did not say that. All 3 of them are diverse.
I'm saying it. All 3 of them are diverse.
Yes.
Holy Biden. Number 2, Billy's story of the week. Google can't hide documents showing an anti-union campaign. Blah blah blah. Number 3, joke on Djokovic. We're applauding Australia for revoking his visa again. Right?
We're applauding Australia for giving us some entertainment. Although Matt would probably not like that because it's taking people off the metaverse news.
Oh, come on. She's not that simple-minded.
Also, are you
little
kidding? As an immigrant, I will tell you that if I filled out
Yes.
anything wrong on any border thing, I could kiss whatever goodbye. So this
Yeah, it
really
is
tickles
a-
my fancy.
I don't have quite your experience probably, but even the 1 year I spent going through that process for a long-term visa, it's frightening. Every moment of it, every line you wait in, every X-ray you take to look at your heart, like it's because you just think you're going to screw up everything and they're going to kick you right, and they know that. They know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I can keep my pattern of going first. I'm ready.
Go for it, Emma. Emma knows
I'm
already.
ready. Okay, so I like the Djokovic one, especially for its entertainment value. However, it is reversing stupidity, so I feel like it doesn't deserve the win
Ooh.
today.
Ooh, look at her call. Yeah,
And
I like it.
then lack of transparency. I appreciate this headline. I do think this is a good headline. However, I think that I don't know. I just want to give someone credit for like a positive thing, like not a it's
Yeah.
it's Google getting caught. It's a good thing
True.
that someone, it's like a negative for
Well
Google,
said,
not like
well
a
said.
positive for someone. So I'm going with the Federal Reserve Board because it's only a 7-person board and it's now 2
3 out
black
of
people, 2
7.
women. That's, 2 black people on a 7-person board is a higher percentage of black people
Yeah.
than most corporate boards.
Yes, absolutely.
I
That's
think
usually
I just like that
0%.
one. That's what I'm doing.
I'm not going to waste anyone's time. I agree with Emma, and I will say that this is something that President Biden during the campaign promised. He promised to kind of start to change a lot of our a lot of the faces and diversity of our institutions. This is one promise that he is consistently
Make it
coming
look
through on.
more like the country.
No, but he's consistently coming through on this promise, and I applaud it wholeheartedly. So I agree with you, Emma.
Sweet.
It's going to be a clean sweep, and for obvious reasons. Like the Fed is the one in charge of things like quantitative easing and working to set inflation. And I am just fascinated by what happens if a group of people who aren't like all from the Chicago School of white male economics do with some of these things. And I can't honestly, it can't be much worse, right? So we'll be happily surprised by policies that actually make sense for all of America. I'm excited about that. I actually think that's a good story. I usually
actually do
shit on
too.
all the stories.
This is a 10.
That is actually a good story. Remember that for the good guys.
Ooh. More importantly, we finally have a new sound effect. That's the most important thing. Emma, why don't you bring us back down to earth? Irritate
No
us
problem.
of the week.
That's my
Irritate
job.
me.
Depress us.
No problem. Got some queued up for you. All right. So, welcome to Irritatingest of the Week, everyone's favorite segment, yada, yada, yada. Here we go. Number 1. Apple is still bigger than all of these companies combined. Matt,
Apple
you haven't
hate,
said
more
anything,
Apple
but
hate.
shut up. I don't want to hear your pre-thoughts about this yet. So, according to Yahoo Finance, they have some data that says that Apple is currently bigger than Tesla, Meta, and Berkshire Hathaway combined. Those
Wow.
3 companies
for you, Apple.
combined
That's
are
impressive.
worth $2.6 trillion.
Impressive. Amazing.
Trillion dollars. And Apple is still bigger than them. They are also bigger than JP Morgan, Johnson & Johnson, Visa, United Health, Home Depot, and Bank of America combined, who are also worth
Amazing.
about $2.6 trillion. And Apple is still as big, if not bigger, than those 2 combined
Yes.
sets of companies.
I love
Why
it.
is this irritating?
Yeah, why?
I shouldn't be alone on this, but it irritates me that no one cares. I don't think anyone cares about this. Like, the tone of this article was not, isn't this how crazy
don't
it is?
care.
Are they too big? It was just like, here are some facts. This is the truth. And it's not concerning anyone. News outlets, pundits, no one seems to be skeptical that this is an
Nope.
acceptable way for Apple to exist. And I feel like someone should be concerned that Apple is triple the size of Meta, triple the
Thank
size
God.
of Tesla.
Thank God it wasn't
Thank
reversed.
God. Thank God it's not reversed.
This is why Meta doesn't like Apple.
Exactly. Well, there are more reasons than that.
This is why I was. This is why it's a relief that Steve Jobs did not die and it's still kicking good. It's great. I love you, Steve.
Oh yeah. Perfect.
I
Keep
All right.
living.
don't
Keep
care.
living, brother.
Yeah, I know Matt doesn't care, but I care, so I'm gonna say it.
I mean,
anyway.
this is
Number
going to
2.
always be. You know what? We'll talk later. Keep going, Emma.
Yeah, let's finish him out. and then
We'll
I'll
talk
tell you
later.
why I don't
Keep
care.
going.
What have we been doing this whole time?
Keep going.
We'll talk.
I'm not
We'll,
gonna-
we'll
come
talk
on.
later.
Let's
We'll
go.
talk later.
Let's go.
Number 2. Elon Musk ramped up its Las Vegas tunnel to 70 tests.
Okay.
This story, I have to admit, actually, and why this is annoying
Totally
will become clear.
understand that.
So this story actually broke last Friday when we were like doing the show. So I don't
Cheater.
even think this.
It's fine. No,
yeah.
it's
So
fine.
unlike Ari,
I allow
I
it.
am
I allow it.
unfortunately not
old
fresh. I
news.
am a little. I'm a little.
Stale.
Yeah.
It's a
I'm a
little
little
crusty.
But it's worth it, I promise. So the Consumer Electric Show in Vegas happened last Thursday, and the Boring Company, which is Elon Musk's company that literally drills into the earth, they are not boring like snoring. They are boring like boring through the earth.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
Yes.
Ari,
Yes,
how dare
it's
you.
not-
They
Oh,
like do
Ari.
like boreholes.
She also just
Yep.
found out that that Bob Dylan was actually
Is a
the-
thing?
one-
Anyway.
is a singer.
Yeah.
That's cool, Emma.
Anyway.
Thank you.
You're
Matt's
so
not kidding, by
welcome.
the way. Yeah.
So, in conjunction with the Consumer Electric Show happening, they increased their fleet of Teslas in their Hyperloop in the Las Vegas Convention Center loop to 70 vehicles. So, as a reminder, the Hyperloop is a 1.7 mile underground tunnel that's, I believe it's a loop, so it's circular. And they now have 70 Teslas in it with drivers. Each Tesla is driven by a driver who brings passengers between 3 stops on the Hyperloop.
Wait,
the purpose was-
1.7 miles? That's
Yes,
it?
it's supposed to cut down on
You can
foot
walk
traffic.
that.
Yes,
Cut
exactly.
down on foot traffic? Shouldn't you be
So-
walking 1.7 miles?
Yeah,
great.
that's what I think
that's-
people
that's
don't
why it's so
understand about the
irritating.
Hyperloop.
I
It
didn't
is
realize it was so short.
1.7 miles. Yeah, so it's supposed
Right.
to cut down. It's 3 different stops. It's supposed to cut down on foot
That is
traffic.
weird.
Yep.
And ostensibly, you're in Vegas as a tourist anyway, so why not walk and just look around?
Have you
You're
walked?
making all sorts of points
down
that
the
Elon
strip?
is not considering.
Actually, I have. I've been there once. I did walk
Now,
down the strip.
don't you understand why you don't want
No,
to?
it's good people watching. It's fascinating.
So the cars, so they're Teslas, they're cars that are going around the Hyperloop. And they can go a max of 40 miles per hour. It's supposed to
Okay.
transport about 4,000 passengers an hour, but it looks like it's more like 1,000 due to fire regulation.
Right.
So it's not
Okay.
even
So it's a
carrying as many
subway
people.
built out
But
of
it's
individual cars. Yeah, I got
But
it.
it's not a subway.
So
and
why do you
that
hate
is
this? Why is it
Because
irritating?
it's not a subway. That's
It's
why
not
I
a
hate
subway.
this.
Okay.
With
Okay.
so here, think about this for a
Yeah.
second. There's 70 Teslas, and with every passenger seat filled, there can be a maximum of 280 people traveling at once. If you fill every passenger seat and you're squished in the back
Sure.
with 3 people and you're uncomfortable. Also not very COVID safe.
Why aren't they self-driving?
They eventually will be, but that is not within their capacity at this moment in time, but that is the hope in the future.
Put that
So-
shit on assertive mode.
So I have definitely been on train cars where there are half that many people. Like you can shove so many people onto a subway car, onto a bus.
Don't remind me.
With 70 different cars, only 280 passengers.
Okay.
So not only that, but it only serves people at a convention center. God forbid we build transportation for people who live in areas that actually need it.
There you go. That's where you got me.
And there was actually a traffic jam. That was a 1.7-mile loop. And during the convention, there was a traffic jam
Really?
that added a full minute onto what was supposed to be a 2-minute trip.
Well, this is America, Emma. We don't
50%.
understand. We don't understand public transportation. We don't understand how to
Exactly.
keep it
So
efficiently
my
moving.
final reasoning for why this is irritating, why must there be hyperloops when public transportation does everything it's trying to do better?
It should. Okay.
Moving on.
Emma, you
Number
just
3.
don't understand the electric vehicle part. You're like, screw
I
all
love
this.
everything. I love everything about the fact that Elon Musk basically started a company that does the big dig in lots of places. Like that.
Exactly.
Right,
That's
right.
all that is.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything else.
Love the
good
big
God.
dig.
Stupid
All right.
company.
Number 3. Tim Cook is officially a
Oh,
billionaire after a
back to Apple. Here we go.
500% pay
How
raise
dare
in
you.
2021. He made
Like 500%.
500%.
Wait, you talk about the dude who runs the company that is literally 19 times bigger than everything. You don't
I'm
think that
sorry.
dude deserves a raise? Excuse
How many
me?
hours does Tim Cook have in a day? Is Tim Cook one human being? Does Tim Cook need
Good question.
the
good question.
$100 million he made in 2021 alone? His base salary is $3 million. His bonus was 12, but most of it is coming from an equity plan that was going to give him $82 million if he's in equity if he stayed on as CEO for 10 years, which he has now done.
Okay.
But the reason
Something
he
he
is now
agreed
a-
to 10 years ago. Yep.
Yes, this is
Go
something
ahead.
he agreed to 10 years ago. But the
When did he
reason he is now
die?
a billionaire is, I'm sorry, did you say that you thought he died?
No, what if he had died?
Oh my God! I
Then he
thought you
doesn't
said
get the
I
money,
thought
Ari.
he died, and I'm like,
And
no,
he can't
wrong
collect
one.
his paycheck. Ari.
Fresh news, Emma. Sorry, go
Um,
on.
But the reason he's now a billionaire, so all of that money is a ton of money, but that doesn't make you a billionaire necessarily. But what does make you a billionaire is 5 million vested Apple shares worth about $750 million.
Got it.
Whoa.
So why is this irritating?
Yeah.
I
why?
don't know why on earth we're okay with Tim Cook making $100 million a year,
Just
but
hate
they
gays.
insist on using unethical labor. Like it just
Yeah, give it to a
just not
tennis player,
lining-
right, Emma?
It's just exactly. If you're not irritated by this, I don't understand you. Number 4.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
Google, so this is actually something that Damien covered earlier this week,
Ooh,
but I thought it was very irritating and worth including.
Okay.
Google is supplying full-time staff with rapid COVID-19 tests while contractors must wait for slower mail-in results.
I hate this
So,
one.
This one's bad. Temps, contractors, and external vendors make up about half of Google's 120,000 employee workforce. But this is an extension of a long-time problem within Google between its full-time staff and its part-time staff. They run on what they call a 2-tier employment system.
Ooh.
So
Dual
they-
class
Like
employment.
Kellogg's did.
like exactly.
I like that.
So, and this has been a long-running argument. So temporary workers often get paid less. They don't have access to the full-time Google employee benefits
No,
like
they
paid
don't.
vacation time or stock options, or you
Get
can't
out of here,
even
contractor.
use their systems to, request a monitor for your desk the way that Google
Wow,
full-time
wow.
employees can. But they have even gone so far as to do blatantly illegal shit, like violating pay parity laws in Europe and Asia that require companies to pay full-time and temporary workers equal wages. And they did
Shocking
do that.
concept.
Shocking concept. So actually what they did was when they discovered they were missing like $100 million from making their making the pay equal. And they discovered this and then decided to only adjust the wages of the new employees and rather than fixing everyone else's pay. So
As it should be.
it's not great. All right.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Emma, I'm gonna rename the segment to Emma still hates Apple, Emma still hates Elon Musk, and Emma still hates Google. That's the new name of this
Not
segment.
my fault that they're so irritating all the time. I don't know what to
Yeah,
do.
I mean this is a clear pattern of your irritation. I get it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know about this.
Um,
This stinks.
who wants to go first?
I know you
For
don't
me,
have
it's
Still
a-
processing, man. Okay, I'm still processing.
For me,
I
it's
mean-
an easy. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Go. It's easy for you.
To me,
then go.
it's easy because I'm not. I never can. I cannot stand for your Apple hate, Emma, until you give up your Apple products.
Stop
I
it,
don't care.
Damien.
I don't care what they do, but I will forever make fun of you for your Apple
That's
hate.
fine.
And yet you are like, you could be using a Linux operating system. You could be.
But who are
There's
those
so many things.
Linux?
There's so many things that you could do that align with your
Not
values, and
Linux.
you refuse. So I'm never gonna let you. I'm never gonna let
But
you
then
win with
I
Apple.
would never
and the
have. I
irritating.
need a computer, Damien. I need a computer of.
Did
some
you just hear
sort.
what I said? Use a Linux operating system, which is just as good as Apple, if not better, because it aligns
And who owns
completely,
that?
100% with your values, 100% non-profit. Complete. It works just
stop it.
anyway.
Just vote
I'm gonna let
on
it go.
something,
I'm gonna
fool.
let it go. So I'm not gonna let you get away with Apple. Elon
She
Musk.
just wants him to be better.
I'm with you on Elon Musk. There's a part of me that kind of I don't hate the boring tunnel as much as you do. I hate it in Vegas, but maybe it could solve for certain things somewhere. So I'm going to give Elon a pass on this one, even though I hate Elon. To me, it's an easy one, which is Google. Is that they need to hire these people? I'm sick of it.
Mhm.
Like, I think it's like sort of outrageous that not sort of, it is outrageous that a company of this magnitude with the amount of resources it has keeps half of its workforce kind of in this like never nail biting, am I important enough land. I find it cruel. I was a
horrible.
temp at a company for a year, and a lot of the people who joined that company had to go through the same thing, and it's nerve wracking, and it's annoying, and it's dehumanizing, and it's stupid. Alphabet, you can hire these people. Just hire them and give them the same benefits as everyone else. It's embarrassing at this point, honestly. So I'm voting for that one.
I'm a little.
Just my
in
opinion, Matt.
Damien's-
Just my it's my
I'm a
small
little
T
in
truth.
Damien's- I was about to agree with you for the most part. I'm a little in Damien's camp. I'll tell you why at the beginning I don't care about Apple being bigger, and you shouldn't either. The stock market's fake. It's bigger.
Oh.
It's market capitalization, which
Not
is the
the Tim Cook's
value
wallet,
of
it's
each
not.
share,
Not
is
the
bigger than
Wallet.
those companies. Yeah, okay. When you look at Apple's total assets, they have 230 billion in total assets. Facebook has 133 billion in total assets. If you take away Apple's cash, which they've been sitting on for 10 years, it's 100 billion. They're the same size. They're basically the same company. It's just the investors like the Apple story more, and therefore its market capitalization
story.
exploded.
Better story.
It's 3 trillion.
Sexy.
Yeah, boo.
Clean
It's-
and sexy.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about their stupid market
Nice stores.
capitalization, except for the fact that that drives what goes into an index, that they're the largest index position. I don't really care. And the money about Tim Cook from 10 years ago, I'd rather he got paid a tranche 10 years ago that said do well 10 years from now, because the average CEO doesn't last 10 years. They last 5 to 7 years is the average CEO tenure, right? So that he lasted 10 years, I'm not surprised that they
Yeah.
mispriced the option 10 years from now. But, good for him. He
You're
made $1
right to
billion.
hate that, Emma. We have a name for this. It's called pay for pulse. It's basically you're paying someone to keep living. To your point, Ari. I mean, he's getting a big bonus because he's still alive.
But it doesn't irritate me because it happens
It unfortunately
all
it
the
happens
time, right?
everywhere. Yeah.
I'm really torn between the Boring Company and Google.
Yeah.
And the Google one is irritating for all the reasons Damien stated. The Boring Company is more in the spirit of the irritatingest game.
Yeah, it is.
Is
It is.
just
Yeah.
irritating.
But
How
what if
do you-
it? But what if he did it? What if it was in Los Angeles or something that really does have? Although,
But it's
I
not.
think
I'm sorry.
You should invest,
Makes it all the more
you should invest in
irritating.
public transportation over the Boring
Yes.
Tunnel, though.
1.7 miles. What?
No, you're right. You're right.
You can walk 2 miles in about 25 minutes.
that,
1.7 miles with the traffic jam inside the tunnel. I
Yeah,
don't-
and buzz me if you need to, Emma. I've been to Las Vegas. Those people need a lot of those people. Majority of them need to be walking 1.7 miles.
There
That's all.
should, there should be. Yeah.
I mean, have you seen the buffets? Have you seen the buffets?
Fat phobic.
I
I didn't say fat.
I really think that one while I agree that it's not irritating to me the way Google treats its dual class employees, it's like outrageous to me. This is the irritating one. This is the one where I'm going to go to
Probably
bed
right.
tonight
You're
and
probably
be like,
right.
"Are you serious that this thing exists?" I'm voting Elon Musk.
Yeah.
It does seem like you could rename the company Ego Company and have the same effect. But
All right, Ari.
I do giggle when I hear boring company though. When you said that, I
Ari, it's all
giggled.
down to you.
I don't like going last.
Well, we could
really
we could cut you
don't.
out of the show. Could we go back
Is
to
there any
just
way
completely
we
out of the show?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'm gonna vote not because Matt said it, but because it's just so annoying. The boring company thing.
It
I
is.
don't
It is so
understand.
annoying.
It's
It is-
irritating. No, it's not
Right.
annoying. It's irritating.
it
But
is
I'm really
irritating.
happy that I now know what the boring company does. Thank you,
Mhm.
Emma.
You're
So the
so
winner
welcome
there
anytime.
is.
It's
Boring
me,
Company.
really, because now I know.
I'm going to quickly recap because we're now entering our 17th hour. Story of the week is all
call-a-thon.
all the congressional arbitrage, all the craziness going on in Washington, dealing
That's a
with
government
regulating
thing.
our corporations. Asshole of the week, assholiest of the week, Kathy Wood. Goodliest of the week, President Biden's announcement of the diverse slate of candidates for the Federal Reserve
Federal
Board.
Reserve.
And the most irritatingest of the week, Elon Musk's boring tunnel in Las Vegas, which is about the length of a
Hyperloop.
couple of football fields. Who won the week?
I think as our first fancy expert, Bria won the week.
Oh, you know what?
Yay!
Nice
She
vote.
was
Yeah, I think
so good.
Yeah, I think you're probably
Does she
right.
have friends?
You know what? Kill the rest of the voting. Just Bria won the
I
week.
was, and this is a true feather to her because I was going to say Lisa Cook, economist from Michigan State University, who's one of those diverse candidates announced by President Biden. But yeah, you're right. I'm going to give
It's
it to
Bria.
our fancy.
Bria
expert.
won
We
the
love
week.
Lisa
All
too,
right.
but-
Do we have any predictions?
Thank you,
Predictions.
Bria.
I actually have a couple of predictions.
Ooh, I like
Okay.
your predictions.
My first one happened before the show. My second one happened during the show. The first one is that the stock trading ban that we're talking about to be introduced in Congress is much ado about nothing. Like everything else, we're being teased. It's not going to go through. The second one, along the same lines, the Djokovic, the Serbian robot who dominates tennis, is gonna he's gonna play in the stupid tournament because TV ratings will be higher and advertisers are king and that blah 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 blah. You
Wow,
know he's gonna play.
Damien.
You know he's gonna play. It's just the same Brett Favre. No, not Brett Favre. What's this idiot's name?
Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh.
Karen Rodgers. Just
Wow,
the
you
same
went
way
with Brett
Karen
Favre.
Rodgers keeps playing. Come on. What are we doing?
He's
here?
going to be Aaron Rodgers is going to be MVP.
Great.
Can you imagine? That should be
Great.
when they announce
So
that. That
irritating.
100%
What a
is
teammate.
the
What a teammate.
irritatingest of the week. There's you should actually not have any other
Yeah,
options
what
except for that.
a star. What a great guy. that's my
I'm
prediction. Anyone
surprised-
else?
You don't have any Joey Romeo predictions at all. I can't believe.
Well, I did
that.
predict earlier in the show that we're going to be referencing him constantly for at least 6 months. So that was my prediction. And already since then, I think we've said his name like 6 times. So
I mean, well, because my predictions are that both Joey Romeo and Djokovic sell crypto on
Very
Instagram. In the
All right,
next
you
week.
won.
That's
you won the
that's my
prediction.
prediction for this
Yes,
week.
Yeah, you
That's
can't
it.
top that. Yeah. Ari, Emma, anything before we get out of here?
I can't do better than Joey Romeo and Djokovic selling crypto.
I
just
want
can't.
Joey coin.
Let's be honest. Joey Romeo was born to sell crypto.
Or sell like tomato sauce, perhaps.
Sure,
you
whatever.
know?
Tomato sauce, whatever.
Hey, Buzz, you racist.
Yeah, why do you get to make fun?
You're
why do
not
you get to-
Italian.
and Emma, why do you get to
I am
stereotype
Italian.
Italian Americans?
Suck it.
Football.
Damakosh?
Let's hear you say football.
Della
before-
Vecchia,
wait,
baby.
actually-
That's my
Oh,
mom's
God.
maiden name.
All right.
So sorry,
I,
mom.
I can't
Lurking.
stereotype tourists of Las Vegas, but you can stereotype Italian Americans. How dare you?
Hey, forget about
That's it.
All right,
I'm
do you have
done.
a
That's
do you
the
have a
Friday show.
prediction?
No, she doesn't.
I forgot.
Ari has no prediction.
outta here.
That's it. We made it under 7 hours. I am Matt Mascari. That was Damian Rollis, Emma Lurking, the Racist Against Italians, and Ari, the Data Queen. We are Free Float Media. This was Business Pants. This was our Friday show. Thank you to Bria Adeyamo, who was awesome. We loved you. It's great to have a fancy expert keep us in check. We're going to be back next week with our long show. We're going to have another fancy expert of the week. We're going to be pimping that all week. And if you want to catch us during the week, every single day, we have a show that comes out where we give you the business news that doesn't suck. Well, actually, it mostly sucks, but we make it feel like it doesn't suck. That's our real trick. That's what we do
That's our
here.
job.
Go subscribe to the podcast wherever you get podcasts. You can even get them on Amazon now. All the places Emma hates: Apple, Amazon, Google. You can get podcasts at every single one of them. Go get it.
Spotify.
Otherwise, watch the streams. We'll be back at you next week with
Joe
more
Rogan lovers.
business pants. Good